For this character concept, I started with some figure reference of a lady holding a tube across her shoulders. My ambition was to craft something unique from this figure drawing. Pretty quickly I was struck by the idea that the gesture looked a little bit like somebody puppeteering. I had a pretty good base for this puppet character, but that didn't stop me getting in my own head and trying to follow the reference a little too closely, winding myself up into knots and ending up with something that wasn't quite right. The quick solution was to take the drawing back a few stages and start again. And so I end up with something far more cartoony and something that's closer to the style I would like to draw in more regularly. The 2 points of tension for me at this stage of the drawing were the hands, which weren't coming together completely correctly, and the perspective on the face, which I had a tendency to flatten out as if she was looking towards the camera. Additionally, while I think the puppeting was a nice character trait, I didn't get too inventive on the puppets themselves. So this is the start of me working out the final line work over the top of the ruff. It's also where I start to consider what sort of outfit a puppeteer character might wear. When I googled puppeteer on Google Images, the two results that would frequently show up were people dressed in all black so that they were able to blend into the background, allowing the puppets to take front and center, or people dressed similar to a magician or a showman. Given that I really wanted to feature the puppeteer, and also because I thought it might be a little confusing dressing them in all black like you would usually associate with a ninja, I opted to take my inspiration from the second result. So obviously there are now 3 characters. This started as simple iteration where I was not sure in what direction to head, in particular with regard to the face. I really liked the idea of the expression not statically looking towards the camera, but I couldn't deny that the other face had some appeal of its own. In the end, it made sense to work on the characters as a trio, and the mirroring of the gesture was not such a big deal because that's the type of thing that might occur if you're on stage giving a performance. Of course, I felt that the puppets themselves needed to be differentiated from one another a little bit in order to give these characters a more believable presence. However, I'm certain that the physics and mechanics of the puppets don't hold up to scrutiny, so I'll just have to hope nobody looks too closely. And now I start adding the flat values. For whatever reason, I didn't do my usual trick of defining the light source and adding the multiply layer first. I took a brief break from these characters and attempted to try and paint a stage background for them. I honestly don't have a huge amount of confidence when it comes to painting backgrounds, especially with something like this where the vibrant color can really take away from the focus, which is the characters. A very quick experiment with some colorful anime hair and then back to values. I'd like to take credit for the texturing on the floor of the stage, but unfortunately I have to give that credit to a Pexels image overlay. I guess it can be seen as quite an amateur move to just spotlight your character, but when they're all lined up on a stage like this, how can you not? The other concept that made these characters interesting, to me at least, is that they have ropes attached to their wrists as if they are also being puppeted by some unknown force. I attempted to emphasize this by adding a drop shadow on the stage floor which resembles fingers, seemingly hovering above the heads off screen. I'm not sure that it really tracks that well. Maybe you can let me know if you picked up on that or not, but yeah. Coloring the values is always a confidence-shaking event. I think I did okay. I tried to match the values as closely as I could, with the exception of the right puppeteer's hair, which I went much lighter on. I think they were all pretty close to the values that I laid down. If I were to go back and draw this again, I would probably put the middle puppeteer in the same outfit or a similar outfit to the other characters. In my mind, it was okay to make her a little bit special because she is in the center. However, I think it kind of takes away from the cohesion of the puppeteer trio, and it kind of goes against that small amount of research I did at the beginning where I actually thought about what these characters would be wearing. Might have gone way too bright with these lights. I don't know, this stuff's always really hard for me, but at least the different colored rim lighting on each character kind of makes sense now. So if you watched up until now, first of all, thank you very much. But I'd also like to ask which of the characters, if any, you like the most. I think I'm leaning towards the redhead character on the right, but if you have a different opinion, please let me know, as it would help me a whole lot in narrowing it down for making the YouTube short. And I hope you liked these characters. I'll try and be a little bit more regular in pumping these out in the future. The title says developing a character concept every week, and so far it's been a fortnightly occurrence.